Hi, everybody, and welcome back. My name's Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. Today's tip is to open the windows. Air conditioning is so expensive, and I see people all the time. Right now in my timeline, it's April 28th. I'll probably post this not too far in the future because my May videos are coming up, and I still have to schedule those. But um, it is really hot in my house right now. It's like 82-ish degrees. But it has just started to rain on and off. Well, I mean, I guess it's kind of drizzled on and off for a couple of hours now. But not enough to even need the windshield wipers when I was driving. And I was so excited because I started to hear the rain, but it's already let up. You can hear all the strange sounds well, I don't know, maybe you can't hear them in the background, but I hear them, so I'll get super distracted because the bathroom blinds make this sound as the wind blows through them because they're metal. And then I might hear a critter splash into the lake out back. We have something rather large there. It's not just like a muskrat. Oh my god, it jumped into the lake last night, and I was like, what in the world is that? It's too far away and too dark, and it didn't really surface, but it was big enough to make a really large splash. It was definitely not a muskrat. I don't think it was an otter either. Oh, maybe it was one of the big turtles, but I just always guessed no, because I don't think they would jump off stuff. I have no idea what it was, but anyways, it is hot, but it is not unbearable. You'll notice you probably notice you see my skin. I'm not wearing a hoodie like I normally do or a sweater. Because it's just too hot. But okay. So here was my point. A lot of people this time of year, they're like, heat at night, AC during the day, and right now it's 82 in my house. It is 2:40 in the morning. Well, I don't know what it is. Just a second, let me check. Okay, yeah, so I checked. So it's still 82, but it's beginning to cool down. I have the fans on, and it'll gradually get better. I have the umbrella up so that the sun doesn't immediately just come in the windows. I can't. So during the summer, I set stuff up. I put Reflectix, which is this silver bubble wrap type stuff. You can use it on I think you put it around water heaters or something is its intended use. But I put it on certain windows, it's on my bedroom windows. I put it on the sliding glass door, and that way it helps block some of the heat. But right now the door is obviously open because screen door. But it is not unbearable. Yes, I am in a tank top and shorts, so you can see my knee too, my pale knee, because short season has just begun. So, and I don't really have enough shorts, but that's a whole other story. So instead of spending money to heat my house and spending money to cool my house, I'm just kind of dealing with the weather. For my friends in Europe, apparently this is a really rough idea because I guess a lot of y'all don't have air conditioning in Europe from what I've heard, and which kind of makes sense, I guess. I remember being in Italy and we had to put quarters or whatever, lira or whatever. It was years ago. It was pre-Euro in the AC to turn it on. But so for some of you guys it gets to be 75. If you're in Italy or the Mediterranean, I know it gets hotter, but and I know my kids got friends in England, and they complain when it hits the 70s. Well, our 70s. I don't know what it is in Celsius. But I figure as long as it's below 85 in the house, there's no need to turn on the AC. We can deal with it. Um, and it'll cool at night. The breeze is starting to blow. It's supposed to be cooler tomorrow. Tomorrow's supposed to be cloudy, so we won't have as much sun. And then it's supposed to rain the next few days. So there's no sense in wasting the electricity to run the AC right now. And you can understand, we are a household that does not like to be uncomfortable. Something strange about people who process sensory input differently. Uh, and this is very common. I know a lot of them. Very high pain threshold, very low discomfort threshold, which makes everybody think that we're like great big wusses and we can't deal with pain. And like it amazed people. Like when I was in labor with my kid, the what is it, fellow or whatever, like the doctor who's got so much education they train other doctors in specialties, because I was high risk, so I had to have, there was like 30 people in the delivery room. It was a lot. But even her jaw dropped, because what we didn't know, I had pregnancy onset scoliosis, so the epidural didn't work right, and at some point it just stopped working, and it hurt. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't a walk through the park, but my kid was a lot bigger than expected, and I, was able to do it and everything. But and they were amazed. They said I was the nicest wife in the world, that they'd never seen a wife be so nice to her husband in labor. But I wasn't very nice to my mother. But I also knew that my mom had to love me, after it was all said and done, because I was giving her first grandchild. Didn't know about my husband, and he didn't. But discomfort, like, I can't stand the feel of wet toilet paper. I just, no, I can't, like, and I don't like to be uncomfortable. And that's like a really common thing with people who don't process sensory input the same. Like, wet clothes feel like very, and I don't know, I also have skin challenges too, so like wet clothes like will make me break out in a rash. But I figure if I can manage to deal with it, and I mean, I can't always, and certain people with certain health conditions definitely have to have the AC, and that makes sense. But I can sometimes. A year ago, I couldn't. And I don't know. I mean, the weight loss may have something to do with it, but my kid's doing better this year too. The factor that it's been a cooler spring could have something to do with it, or just the factor that I I don't know. I don't know. It could be any number of things, but normally we would turn on the AC during the day on a day like today, and then just turn it off at night, and it would the house would already be cool, so it would just be like we'd keep it at 77 just to kind of keep it somewhat even. and like just to keep it from being so incredibly hot. And then we would just open the windows at night. I think the reason it's 82 in here right now is the factor that the house is having to cool down. My kid said it got to be like 88-ish or 86 at the high. But the windows, I mean, honestly, it's weather, and we are going to continue to have more and more extreme weather, and so we have to at some point adjust to discomfort and kind of force ourselves to push through. I mean, there's people who are out in this all the time and doing far more. I've camped in weather like this, and it's this way at night, and there's no AC when you're camping. I mean, hell, I camped in Southwest Florida in June, the end of June, in an old canvas tent, which absolutely sucked because I felt like it did not have the same airflow that my tent did. But alas, that's what it was. But we are experiencing more extreme weather, and we are going to have to adjust to that. And running your AC all the time on high and your heat on high is not going to make the situation better. And like the people who feel the need, like, it always kills me when I see people who put their house, like, their heat is at 80 in the winter and their AC is like in the 60s in the summer. But like, why such an extreme difference? I mean, don't get me wrong, if it's a health thing, like I normally keep my AC at 70, like 75 to 78 depending. But last summer I did have to keep it at 74. I was very, very sick. Actually maybe the past 2 summers. Yeah. From like May of 2023 until now, I seem to be evening out. And you know, when your whole body is not working and you can't figure out what it is, it's a little different. So if you have a health condition, then obviously you have to play by a different set of rules. My mom keeps her house so incredibly hot. Like, when I was down staying with them, it was like 80 degrees Southwest Florida, and I was just like, oh my god. That's what they kept their house at, and there's, you know, just like no real cooling off. So it's tough. But if you don't have health problems, then you can save a lot of money by not just, I mean, you figure, okay, so if my electric bill is like $50 higher in the summer, then that's clearly from the AC, right? So that's almost $2 a day. What, like maybe, I don't know, we'll just say $1.50 to make it easy. Probably more than that, but we'll say $1.50. And I live in a tiny home, and yours is probably more significant than mine because you probably are in a larger home. So figure out the difference between, and choose a month like July or something where it's kind of like more obvious. So it's like the AC's on the whole time. And figure out July versus January. How much more are you paying? And then I just kind of figure, so for me, it's 90 versus 40. It used to be 90 versus 30. I'm really hoping that my electric bill stays at 90 this summer and we haven't had rising rates, which is quite possible. But so for me, that's $50 divided by, I don't know, my billing cycle range is 25 to 33 days. I hate ComEd. I hate the way they bill. It absolutely sucks. And it's just like so inconsistent. So like instead of being like a certain day cycle, it just like randomly, and like it made sense back in the day when they had to have people come out and manually check the meters. But I have a smart meter, so a computer checks it, and it just kind of happens whenever it happens. But oh, this is another thing: mint tea. Cold herbal mint tea helps keep me cool. But that kind of gives you an idea. So I saved $1 or $2 today by not turning on the AC, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you can go an extra 2 months without AC, like one at the front, one at the back end of summer, then that's what, 30, 60, 90-ish dollars that you're saving. More if you're in a bigger house with a bigger electric bill. I know people who are like $300-400 for their electric bill in the summer. I can't imagine that. And then you could also, like, if it's cooler that night, you could turn it off at night and open the windows. Kind of just adjust it so that you are not wasting, not running the electricity if you don't need to, or not running the AC when you don't need to, and just kind of adjusting in general, because eventually we're all going to have to adjust to our changing weather. And there's still many places in the world, places that are far hotter than most, and they don't have AC, and they survive. No, I'm in no way suggesting that if it's 110 degrees out, if you're in like the Arizona desert, I'm not suggesting that you do something that is a that could lead to something like heat stroke or health challenges. I'm saying that if it's in the 80s, then try and go without the AC. Just try it. And I mean, my house gets pretty hot pretty quick. I live in a big metal box. So today's tip for frugal living: open the windows, try and just kind of make do and live with it, and see if that works. Anyways, again, my name's Melissa. This year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. If you want to hear more, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.